we have discussed about it, that what is the superscalar execution and how we can handle the hazards or how hazards will be there. Data dependency, control dependency. So we have discussed this superscalar processor, superscalar execution of this example. There are 8 instructions. So how we can complete this 8 instruction in 10 clock cycle? ये 8 instruction है हमारे पास और 10 clock cycle में execute कैसे होगी? So is there any doubt in this? First of all, यहाँ तक superscalar architecture तक कोई doubt है? Any query? You discussed this superscalar architecture and execution of this superscalar architecture in our previous lecture. So is it clear? H division students, is it clear? Only 2 students are replying, 1 or 2 students are replying. So it means that only 1 or 2 students are attending the lecture. What others are doing? Okay. So now let's go for the next. That is, if this kind of problems, so the problems which we have discussed in our previous lecture, that is this data dependency problem. There are two kind of data dependency, right? That is write after read, read after write. We have discussed in this example particularly. So write after read, or you can say that is true dependency. So we cannot avoid a true dependency. ये जो डिपेंडेंसी है, there is no any solution of this true dependency. But yes, we can reduce this anti dependency. ये जो dependency है उसको हम reduce कर सकते हैं, anti dependency. So how we can reduce this? So for that we are going to discuss next. So how we can reduce this anti dependency? Anti dependency को कैसे reduce कर सकते हैं? Okay. So for that, to solve this data dependency problem, we are having the technique called register scoreboarding and renaming of our register. So what is a register scoreboarding? In this particular method, which is used by a hardware to detect data dependency. So detect dependency to have a separate register. We are using a separate register. That register is known as scoreboard register. So, which has 1 bit to identify whether this register is in use or not. So, हमारे पास जितने भी registers होंगे, R0 to R31, now we will associate 1 bit with this each register. If that register is right now suppose used by your currently executing instruction, so I1 अभी ये instruction execute कर रहा है और उसमें suppose that particular instruction is using some R1 and R5 register. So that particular register value will become 1 over here. So whatever registers are there in use right now, we will maintain that by this register scoreboarding. उसका यहाँ पे हम score maintain करेंगे 0, 1. 1 indicates that it is in use, 0 indicates it is not in use. So this bit is set if a register is in use and reset if the instruction using that register complete the execution. So जब instruction complete हो जाएगी तो 1 से वापस 0 हो जाएगा. So it means that now that register is not in use. So using this register scoreboarding technique, now what we can do? अब हम क्या करेंगे? We will rename. So we can rename our registers. So register renaming is possible. So how we will rename registers? How we will rename registers? So over here we will have R1. So look at this, our original instruction set: I1, I2, I3, I4, I7, I8. So over here we are having I1 to I8. So if you will observe here instruction, so over here R1 and R5 is already in use. Now what we will do over here, we will try to overcome this anti dependency, try to eliminate anti dependency as well as output dependency. Output dependency means right after right hazard, which is not present in our this example, but that can be also there, and we you can reduce it also. But that is right after right hazard, and this is anti dependency. So that is also we are trying to reduce by this register renaming. So register renaming हम कैसे use करेंगे? So we will observe our instructions. So यहाँ पे हम instruction observe करेंगे. This is our first instruction. So first instruction will be as it is. Now for the second instruction, we will observe that whether it is having any source operand, which is a destination in your previous instruction. Yes. So over here, R1 is a source operand, which is destination is in previous instruction. So that is known as a true dependency. So we cannot avoid this true dependency. So इसके लिए हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. This cannot be avoided using register renaming. So you cannot avoid this. ये जो है वो true dependency है, उसको आप avoid नहीं कर सकते हो. Okay, so next what we will do, we will check for this next instruction I3 and I2. Now over here, if you will observe, so R2 is over here as a source and R2 is over here as a destination in next instruction. So this is called anti-dependency. So this anti-dependency solution is possible using this register renaming. How? So we will say that this register is already in use by R2. R2 में already वो as a यहाँ पे source में as a source use हुआ है. So what we have to do, we have to now rename it. यहाँ पे आपको जब destination में इसको यहाँ पे आपको data store करना है, तो हम एक नया extra register use करेंगे. We will use one extra register, and that register, let's say that we will give name right now, that is R2N. So R5 plus 3, and we will store our R2N, our result into R2N. So like that, we will first of all rename all the registers which is having this kind of anti-dependency or output dependency. So ऐसे ही हर एक instruction को हम यहाँ पे rename कर देंगे. So same way over here. So this rename is happening. We are doing renaming for this instruction as well as for this R5. यहाँ पे अगर आप observe करोगे, so what is there? R5. So R5 के लिए भी हम यहाँ पे renaming operation use करेंगे because it is overlapping over here. Previous example जो हमने discuss किया था, उसमें हमने जो previous slide हमने discuss की थी, तो आपको ये पता ही है कि कहाँ पे हमारे पास anti dependency है. So over here we are having one of the anti dependency, and over here I3 and I6, this is having anti dependency. So we will replace this. I3 में जो destination है उसको replace करेंगे, I6 में जो destination है उसको replace करेंगे. We will use this new register. ये जो नया register है उसको हम यहाँ पे use करेंगे. So that is over here. So we will use it over here as well as we will use it over here. And yes, anti-dependency is between these two also, R1 and R1N. So यहाँ पे भी हम इसको rename करेंगे. So we will use this now rename registers. यहाँ पे ये जितनी भी anti-dependency present थी वो सभी हमने यहाँ पे new registers हमने use कर लिए. So now we will consider this as our instruction set of instruction sequence. So if you will observe, then I have used it over here. यहाँ पे मैंने जो use किया हुआ है वो ये नए register name के साथ है, R1N, R2N like this. Okay, यहाँ पे भी R5N. Over here it is R5N. Okay, so I have used it over here. Now based on this, we will check whether we can execute our instruction in parallel or not. So यहाँ पे हम check करेंगे. So now we will check it over here. So R1, यहाँ पे ये instruction आपकी fetch होगी, decode होगी, execute होगी. Then the second instruction. So second instruction, fetch, decode. We will not we will not get any benefit over here because this is a true dependency. So you cannot avoid true dependency by register renaming. So यहाँ पे तो ये pipeline stall आपके as it is आएंगे. So it means that if we use register forwarding, so directly ये data यहाँ पे next instruction में execution unit में हम pass करेंगे. Okay, then next over here, so over here R5 plus 3, so fetch instruction, decode instruction. Now we will execute. We will allow to execute it over here. If you will recall our previous example, without register renaming, we will not allow execution over here in the fourth clock cycle. But for this instruction, we will now allow to execute it. So हम इसको यहाँ पे execute करने के लिए allow करेंगे. So your result will be stored at the end of this. In which register? It will be stored in R2N. और यू कैन से दैट एलियास ऑफ योर R2 के एलियास में वो स्टोर होगा. R2 में स्टोर नहीं होगा. R2 का दूसरा जो आपने कॉपी बनाई होगी उसको हमने यहाँ पे नेम यूज किया हुआ है R2N, उसमें वो स्टोर होगा. सेम वे नेक्स्ट ये इंस्ट्रक्शन आपकी R1 माइनस R9 सब फेच डिकोड वी कैन नॉट एग्जीक्यूट इट ओवर हियर. यहाँ पे इसको एग्जीक्यूट नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो बिकॉज ड्यू टू दिस ट्रू डिपेंडेंसी. सो यहाँ पे जब फिफ्थ क्लॉक साइकिल पे ये सब कंप्लीट होगा तभी हम इसको यहाँ पे एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे. सो विल एग्जीक्यूट इट ओवर हियर, देन memory access, then store result. Same way for next instruction. So fetch instruction, decode instruction. This is floating point instruction. So floating point execution, memory access, store result. Then same way यहाँ पे R5N. So fetch instruction, decode instruction. Now we cannot execute over here. हम यहाँ पे execute नहीं कर सकते हैं. Instruction execute नहीं कर सकते. Why? Because we are not having enough resources. हमारे पास कितने execution unit है? We are having 2 execution unit which are already in use at this current clock cycle. ये जो fifth clock cycle है उसमें ये दोनों execution unit. What we have assumed? We have assumed that 2 integer units are there and 2 floating point units are there. So दोनों integer units जो है वो भी execution में है. Both these units are already in execution, so we cannot allocate it. We have to wait it. So that is called resource conflict. So resource conflict तो यहाँ पे possible होगा. Resource conflict will be there. If you are not having enough resources, then definitely you have to wait. There will be the pipeline store. Okay, so then execution, and then memory access, store result, same way. Next for this instruction. अब यहाँ पे जो पाइपलाइन जो डिपेंडेंसी थी कि आप यहाँ पे R1 में रिजल्ट स्टोर नहीं कर सकते हो. यू हैव टू वेट दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन टू बी एग्जीक्यूटेड. वो यहाँ पे नहीं होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि ये आप आंसर एलियास में स्टोर कर सकते हो. So fetch instruction, decode instruction, execute, memory reference, store result, same way. So this is, it means that if you will observe over here, so this time, what is the time over here? यहाँ पे ये कितने क्लॉक साइकिल में आपने ये इंस्ट्रक्शन सेट कंप्लीट कर दिया? 9 क्लॉक साइकिल में. If you will go back and if you will observe here, then how much time it is requiring? यहाँ पे कितना टाइम लग रहा है? So it is taking 10 clock cycle. This is the 10 clock cycle it is taking over here. यहाँ पे 10 clock cycle. If you will observe, so it is taking 10 clock cycle to execute this set of instruction. So we will have this advantage. Can reduce this. This is just small set of instruction. उसके लिए आपकी एक क्लॉक साइकिल बच सकती है. So ultimately CPI, average clock cycle per instruction, will be reduced. So that is advantage over here. And once the instruction will be completed, जैसे ही आपका ये instruction complete होगा, what we will do? जो value हमने यहाँ पे store की है R2N, it will be be stored in R2 register. So जैसे ही ये अपने पूरा आपका ब्लॉक है वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, फिर हम क्या कर देंगे? R2N, which is a child, so it will be written into R2. So after completing the sequence of instructions, the rename register override their parents. So their parent means R2N is a child and R2 is a parent. So R2N की value R2 में override हो जाएगी later on once the sequence of instruction is completed. So that will be, this is particularly used to avoid this kind of anti-dependency as well as output dependency. Anti-dependency and output dependency avoid करने के लिए. Is it clear? Any doubt in this? Register renaming. Okay. Okay. Now next topic, That is, we have seen that this is a hardware solution. Now, can we reschedule instruction over here in superscalar architecture? Is it possible to reschedule your instruction in superscalar architecture, superscalar processor? Yes, obviously. So we will reschedule it using one concept that is called instruction window concept. So what is this instruction window concept? We will decide one instruction window. हम एक size design करेंगे, एक window design करेंगे, and that window will, first of all, let's say that window consists of 4 instructions. यहाँ पे as an example consider that window is of 4 instructions. So what we will do, the hardware of this superscalar processor provides an instruction buffer which the capacity of several instructions which can be execute or which can be observed simultaneously this set of instructions. So from this buffer that is called instruction window, the system picked up a 2 instruction to schedule such a way that the time is minimized. सुपर आर्किटेक्चर है तो उसमें हमको एट अ टाइम कितनी इंस्ट्रक्शन शेड्यूल करनी है, दैट इज अ 2 instruction. So out of this 4 instruction, which 2 instruction can be executed, that will be decided by your compiler, and that is known as instruction window concept. So हम 4 instruction की एक विंडो रखेंगे एंड उसमें से कौन सी 2 इंस्ट्रक्शन अभी एग्जीक्यूट हो सकती है इजीली विदाउट अफेक्टिंग योर पाइपलाइन, विदाउट incorporating the pipeline stall, we can execute it. So that will be decided by your compiler, and then this particular 2 instruction will be scheduled. And we will use over here register renaming, also register renaming भी हम यहाँ पे use करेंगे. So we will consider this sequence. चल recently जो हमने use की हुई है वही example हम consider करेंगे. ये जो example है वही example consider करेंगे. Now we will use the concept register, that is इंस्ट्रक्शन विंडो. ये जो इंस्ट्रक्शन है वही हम कंसीडर करेंगे, इंस्ट्रक्शन सेट यही हम कंसीडर करेंगे विथ दिस पर्टिकुलर इंस्ट्रक्शन रीनेम इंस्ट्रक्शंस, रीनेम रजिस्टर्स. नाउ इफ यू विल ऑब्जर्व हियर, यहाँ पे अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे, सो over here we will select first of all 4 instruction. पहले 4 instruction हम select करेंगे. So first 4 instruction will be I1, I2, I3 and I4. So first 4 instruction will be there. So first 4 instruction is over here. Now from this first 4 instruction we will start first instruction. सबसे पहले हम पहली instruction schedule करेंगे. So I1 will be scheduled first. So आपकी I1 है वो पहले यहाँ पे schedule हो जाएगी, fetch instruction हो जाएगी, वो यहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा. नाउ वेदर इफ यू विल परफॉर्म I2, so we have observed that you have to wait for 2 clock cycle due to this true dependency. True dependency वहां पे प्रेजेंट है, इसकी वजह से आपको यहाँ पे 2 clock cycle का स्टॉल आ रहा था. So we will not schedule I2 next. I2 हम यहाँ पे fetch नहीं करेंगे. Which instruction will schedule rescheduling? Due to this rescheduling, now हम ऑब्जर्व करेंगे I3 एंड I4, ये दोनों में से आप कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन I1 के साथ एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो. सो अगेन I4 है उसमें भी R1 एज आपका, यहाँ पे अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे तो I1 एंड I4 विल ऑल्सो हैव दिस ट्रू डिपेंडेंसी. यहाँ पे ट्रू डिपेंडेंसी प्रेजेंट है, तो I1 and I4 also cannot be executed simultaneously. So it means that I1 and I3, so next instruction will be I3. So ये दोनों इंस्ट्रक्शन fetch होगी, decode होगी, एग्जीक्यूट होगी. सो इट विल बी परफॉर्म लाइक दैट. सो आपका टास्क यहाँ पे ऐसा परफॉर्म होता रहेगा. सो इट मींस दैट इफ यू विल ऑब्जर्व देन ओवर हियर वी आर नॉट हैविंग एनी पाइपलाइन स्टॉल, यहाँ पे पाइपलाइन स्टॉल नहीं होगा. ओके, सो 2 instruction we have executed out of this 4. So I1, 2, 3 and 4, उसमें से I2 cannot be scheduled before I1 or with I1. So I3 can be in there interchange with I1, I2 and I1 and I3 are scheduled. So first we will schedule I1, I3. So that is for first window. Okay, for next, so I1, I3 chali gayi. So this 2 instruction has been, we have scheduled I1 and I3. So now remaining instruction window is I2, I4, I5 and I6. So that is our next instruction window, I2, I4, I5 and I6. So now what we have to do, we have to observe आप यहाँ पे कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन आप शेड्यूल कर सकते हो. So I4 and I6 both are having same way. I4 यहाँ पे अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे, so I4 में भी क्या है, R1 यहाँ पे है, I6 में भी क्या है, R1 यहाँ पे है, I2 में भी क्या है, R1 यहाँ पे है. तीनों इंस्ट्रक्शन है वो R1 I1 के साथ ट्रू डिपेंडेंट है. सो आपको तीनों में से कोई एक ही तीनों में से कोई एक चूज करना होगा. सो वी विल चूज, लेट्स से दैट वी विल चूज I2. सो जनरली वो जो सीक्वेंस में पहले आएगी वही हम चूज करेंगे. सो विल फर्स्ट चूज I2. And to avoid this pipeline stalls, we will not schedule I4 and I6, but we can schedule I5 over here without any effect. So without pipeline stall, so we will schedule this next I2 and I5. I2 and I5 हम यहाँ पे schedule करेंगे. So I2, because this is totally independent, यहाँ पे कोई dependency नहीं होगी. So that is you can execute it over here. So fetch, decode, but we have to wait it over here. यहाँ पे एक stall आएगा. क्यों? क्योंकि ये true dependency present है. So after this clock cycle only, this data will be passed over here. So you have to compulsorily wait over here. So even if we are rescheduling our instruction, then it might be possible that can be this kind of stall. But it is a minimize. It is a minimum. Previous case, in the previous example, we were have two pipeline stall. Over here we are having only one pipeline stall, and we have utilized this time for execution of I3. I3 को execute करने के लिए उसको utilize कर लिया. So now over here, if you will observe, so that is I5. I2 and I5 will be executed. Now, so अब ये execute हो गई, I3 execute हो गई, I2 execute हो गई, I5 execute हो गई. So remaining instructions are, let's say, so I4, I6, I7 and I8. So that is our next instruction window, because our instruction window is of 4 instructions. So now which instruction we can schedule? So I4 we will schedule. अब यहाँ पे पहले हम I4 schedule करेंगे. Then so now I4 के बाद कौन सी instruction schedule करेंगे? So I4 over here, I6 and I7 cannot be scheduled because of resource constraint. अगर आप यहाँ पे observe करोगे तो अगर आपने यहाँ पे suppose if you have started execution of I7 or I6, so it will be fetch, it will be, so आप suppose आपने यहाँ पे I6 या I7 का execution किया तो क्या होगा? यहाँ पे fetching होगा, decoding होगा, and then over here it require execution unit, and that is an instruction that is an integer execution unit which is already in use. Already यहाँ पे use में है. We have seen that we are having two arithmetical logical unit, integer units, so which are already in use. So अगर आप I6 या I7 schedule करोगे यहाँ पे तो आपको problem क्या होगा? You will face the resource constraint. So we will not schedule I6 and I7. We will schedule I8 over here. So यहाँ पे हम I8 को schedule कर देंगे. So that is rescheduling of instruction. So I8 will be executed over here. So I8 यहाँ से execution start हो जाएगा. So that is fetch instruction, decode instruction, execute, floating point instruction. So observe it carefully. We have given in the question initially that we are having two floating point unit. ये भी हमने यहाँ पे provide किया हुआ है. If you are having only one floating point unit, floating point arithmetic unit, then over here also you will have stall. तो यहाँ पे भी क्या आएगा? Stall आएगा. So it means that there will be compulsory one stall. तो आप यहाँ पे कोई भी instruction I6, I7 या I8 execute नहीं कर पाओगे. But we have assumed right now we are having two arithmetical logical unit, integer arithmetical logical unit, and two floating point units. So we can execute, we can schedule I8 right now, and remaining instruction 6 and 7 will be scheduled later on, last. So that is how we will use instruction window. Instruction window का use हम कैसे करेंगे? So this is for instruction window use. Is it clear? Any doubt in this instruction window? We have seen register renaming as well as instruction window concept. Yes, Jai has asked one question that if we will execute I3 instead of I2, then your result will be stored into R2N. So that is the advantage of register renaming. हम R2 में result store नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम result store कर रहे हैं R2N, or you can say that that is a alias, that is another copy of your R2 register. Later on, when the sequence of instruction will be completed, at that time we will modify R2. R2 को हम modify कब करेंगे? Let's say that we have decided that after few instructions, so after few instructions only your R2 register will be overwritten. So that will be the advantage. यहाँ पे अगर आप पहले I3 एग्जीक्यूट करोगे तो आपका रिजल्ट किस में स्टोर होगा? R2N में. एंड यहाँ पे हम कौन सा रजिस्टर यूज कर रहे हैं? R2N नहीं यूज कर रहे हैं. So that's why we have used register rename. Rename register हम यहाँ पे इसके साथ यूज करेंगे. When this result will be stored, ये रिजल्ट R2N में से R2 में कब स्टोर होगा? R2 में ये रिजल्ट कब स्टोर होगा? So it will be later on in your program. Later on means after execution of, let's say that for this 8 instruction or after some interval, that depends. आप उसको renaming के बाद आप decide कर सकते हो that after this interval 10 or let's say that 10 or 20 millisecond we will transfer this data to the R2 register. Meanwhile, all the data dependency will be, all such instruction in which is having we are having such kind of dependency will be completed. So is it clear, Raj? Sorry, Jai. Jai has asked. Is it clear, Jai? Any doubt to any doubt to anyone? Look, H division students, am I not audible to you or what? Why you are not replying each and every time? Why I have to tell you that reply? Am I not audible to you? H division students. Okay. So at least why I am saying that if you will not reply, how I will get this information that whether you are connected, I am connected with you or not. So at least say yes or no or clear or not clear whenever I am asking. Okay, so this is instruction window and register renaming concept we have used for superscalar processor. So now what are the stages? What are the stages you can say that the pipeline superscalar processor में जो हमने pipeline stages जो हमने previously discuss किए उसमें internally वो कैसे connected है? How they are connected internally? So this is just one block diagram. You cannot say that this is the exact steps, that exact steps will be followed by these superscalar processors. But you can say that this is an overall idea that how superscalar processor implement pipeline stages. Pipeline stages में कैसे implement होते हैं. So we will have instruction case. Instruction case में से हम क्या करेंगे? Instruction यहाँ पे आपके पास होगी. Then based on this instruction case, fetch unit will fetch this instruction from memory. वो memory में से instruction यहाँ पे instruction case में आएगी. So that is a fetch unit fetches the several instruction in each clock cycle from the instruction cache. So cache में से आपकी instruction one by one fetch होगी. आप जो frequently execute कर रहे होंगे और जो nearby instruction execute कर रहे होंगे वो आपकी cache memory में available होगी. So there are lots of cache mapping algorithms. So based on that, instruction will bring it to the cache memory, and from the cache memory, instruction will be fetched, and then it will be provided to the next unit, that is a decoder unit. Now decoder unit will decode your instruction as well as it will implement this register renaming technique. So renames the registers whenever it will require to avoid false data dependency. False data dependency means empty dependency as well as this output dependency. Output dependency means write after write. That is another name of dependency, that is a output dependency. So output dependency as well as empty dependency will be eliminated. try to eliminate it. We are trying to eliminate it. And so now only true dependency will be there in your program. So that is decoding stage. After decoding stage, then instruction, once the instruction will be decoded, आपकी instruction जब decode हो जाएगी, then it will go to the next stage. Over here, it has to wait for instruction in buffer. So instruction are sent to the instruction buffer where they stay temporarily till the source operands are identified and they are become available. So वहाँ पे आपका जो operand है वो fetch होगा. So your operand will be fetched from the respective registers or respective memory location. वहाँ से आपका operand fetch होगा. Once the operand is ready, so now your instruction is ready to be executed and it will be stored in this pipeline. So that is a ready instruction pipeline, and from that it will be selected. So ready instructions are dispatched based on the availability of functional unit. So यहाँ से अब वो आगे आपके कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन आपकी एग्जीक्यूट होगी, so according to that it will be provided to your functional unit. So we are having several functional unit as we have seen example. हमने example देखा था, that is we are having two arithmetical logical unit, we are having two floating point unit. So based on the availability of the functional unit, your instruction will be dispatched. यहाँ पे आपकी instruction है वो provide होगी. As well as we have implemented, if we have used register forwarding, then bypass path will be also there. So register forwarding mechanism is also there, or operand forwarding, you can say that. So results are stored directly. Results are directly passed. You can pass result from one functional unit to another functional unit using this register forwarding technique. And for performing operation, if requires the data, so again data can be used, data can be accessed from the register file. So operands are fetched either from the register files or from the bypass path from the earlier instruction, and then results are stored into data or register files. So these are the stages, pipeline stages, that all of you are already aware about it. But this is how they are interacting. What is a sequence and how they are in sequence. So that is about the stages of pipelining in superscalar architecture. Same way, one another concept, important concept that is a loop and unrolling, and this will be used for our next topic. So first of all, let's see what is this loop unrolling. So loop unrolling means what? So whenever, as all of you are aware about that, in our pipelining we are having problem or hazard due to these branches as well as data dependency. So whenever there will be the branch, or you can say that when there will be the looping kind of structure is there in your program. So one of the method to use this particular, to reduce this branching and to implement the parallelism is loop unrolling. So यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे, in this particular mechanism, the loop are replicated a number of times equal to the number of iteration of your loop. So इसका meaning, अगर आपने loop में लिखा है I equal to 0 and let's say that for I less than or equal to 5, and then let's say that I plus plus, आपने ये जो आपकी हायर लैंग्वेज में प्रोग्रामिंग में ऐसा लूप लिखा होगा, सो आपका कंपाइलर क्या करेगा, इसका जो बाइट कोड जनरेट करेगा वो हर एक इटरेशन के लिए वो आपका बाइट कोड जनरेट करके आपको प्रोवाइड करेगा. इट विल नॉट जनरेट ओनली वंस, इट विल जनरेट 5 times 4 times according to your number of iteration. So ideally the compiler will generate up to the 4 iteration. वो पहले 4 इटरेशन के लिए वो ऐसे आपकी सीक्वेंस ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन जनरेट कर देगा. सो सपोज आपके लूप पे आपने लिखा है सम इक्वल टू सम प्लस आई, तो वो पहले क्या करेगा, सो ये इंस्ट्रक्शन आपकी कितनी बार एग्जीक्यूट होगी, कितनी बार वो अनरोलिंग मींस व्हाट, दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन, इसका जो बाइट कोड है वो डुप्लीकेट होगा कितनी बार, सो 4 टाइम इट विल बी डुप्लीकेटेड. सो इट विल बी कंसीडर्ड दिस इज योर I1 इंस्ट्रक्शन, दिस इज योर I2 इंस्ट्रक्शन, दिस इज योर I3 इंस्ट्रक्शन, लाइक दिस. So that is called loop unrolling. So it will do for up to 4 iteration. Again, once the 4 iteration will be completed, again it will do it for next 4 iteration if your loop is not terminated. So it will be like this. So that is a concept that is called loop unrolling. So how you will get advantage over here? So यहाँ पे advantage कैसे मिलेगा आपको? So I1, I2, I3 अगर आप ऐसे और वो instruction क्या है आपकी same. तो आपको जो जंप करना पड़ेगा वो जंप यहाँ पे अवॉइड हो जाएगा. आपको आपकी कंडीशनल जंप या अनकंडीशनल जंप होगी वो जंप यहाँ पे अवॉइड हो जाएगा बिकॉज दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन विल बी नाउ ट्रीटेड लाइक सीक्वेंशियल इंस्ट्रक्शन. सो दैट विल बी एडवांटेज ओवर हियर. सो जंप पाइपलाइन में स्टोल नहीं आएगा ड्यू टू दिस जंप ऑपरेशन. Yes, when there will be the last time you are terminating the loop, at that time there will be the stall. आपकी वहाँ पे, so that is just one concept. This is just one concept. Loop enrolling. It requires lots of efforts. It requires lots of intelligence in your compiler. That up to how many iterations you have to unroll it. So that depends on how many times your loop will be executed. So you require some extra effort, extra programming over there. But this is just one concept, loop unrolling. Same way, our next topic is very long instruction word. Okay, so before we are going for the next instruction, let me take attendance once. One, two, three, four, five, six. Six is absent. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is absent. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 is absent. 1, 41 is absent. 51 is absent. 55 is absent. 8, 9, 1, 5. Arkin 133 number. You have to join I division meeting. 133 number Arkin. Right now it's okay, but you have to join I division meeting. Seventy-one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 77 is absent. 78, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 0, 7, 0, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 1, 1, 5, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 120, 1, 2, 3, 4, 24, 28, 128, 129, 31, 32, 33, 36, 7, 8, 138, 39, 40, 41, 42 is there, 43, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is very long instruction word processor. So this is another kind of processor. This is another kind of technique in which what we will do, we will pack more than one instruction in a single word. So that's why the name itself is very long instruction. So एक ही instruction में we will provide more than in one instruction word, we will provide more than one instruction, or you can say that we can provide more than one opcode. So that's why that is known as very long instruction word processor. We will see one such processor as an example. So at that time it will be more clear for you. Right now, we are going to just discuss this basic concept. and later on we will in this chapter we will discuss it in detail with one example, one such processor I will explain you. So in the superscalar processor, what we require duplicate instruction registers, we require duplicate decoder, and we require more than one arithmetical logical unit. So we require more resources ultimately. So it is difficult to schedule instruction dynamically to reduce this pipeline delay because hardware looks only a small window instruction. So even if we are providing this kind of resources, हम इंस्ट्रक्शन रजिस्टर यूज करेंगे, डबल इंस्ट्रक्शन रजिस्टर यूज करेंगे, डिकोडर यूज करेंगे, we will use more than one arithmetical logical unit, then also we cannot achieve such parallelism. Why? Because our instruction window size is very small. जो हमने एग्जांपल देखा था that we have seen that our instruction window size we were taken, that is a 4 instruction. So out of that we are having the choice only of 4 instruction, उसमें से आपको reschedule करना होगा. So that is one limitation for this superscalar processor. Now, so alternative of this superscalar processor is use this very long instruction word processor. So in this what we will use a sophisticated compiler to expose the sequence of instructions which have no dependency and require different resources of the processor. So हम ऐसा intelligent compiler use करेंगे इसमें, हम ऐसा advanced compiler use करेंगे इसमें, जो क्या करेगा, it will detect that what are the instructions that you can execute without dependency and without resource conflict. आप resource conflict किए बिना and without this data dependency, you can execute those instructions parallelly in using our exist resources. जो आपके पास resources है उसका आप proper better utilization कर सको. So we will pack more than one instruction in a single word. A single word incorporate many operations. एक ही word में हम एक से ज्यादा operation mention कर देंगे. So typically, so generally हम क्या करेंगे? In one word, we will mention 2 integer operations. We will mention 2 floating point operations. We will mention 2 add or load or store operations and 1 branch type operations. All will be packed in one long instruction. So that is your instruction might be long of 128 to 256 bit. आपकी instruction इतनी लंबी हो सकती है, 128 to 256 bit long instruction you can have. And we will divide this instruction later on in the 3 parts. So आप ऐसे बोल सकते हो कि आप यहाँ पे एक साथ कितनी instruction I1, I2, I3 सब operations, ये generally हम इसको बोलते हैं I6, and so I1 and I2 can be for of integer type, I3 and I4 can be for floating point type. So like that you can mention such instructions in a single word, एक ही word में, और वो word की length क्या होगी, so that the word will be of 128 to 256 bit long. So what will be the advantage over here? So to execute this particular long instruction, what you have to you should have first, the processor must have enough resources to execute all these operations specified in an instruction. So it means that as we have in the example, आपके पास यहाँ पे कितना क्या होना चाहिए, 2 ALU होना चाहिए, 2 FP होना चाहिए, 2 data read and write, आपके पास 2 separate memory होनी चाहिए, as well as you should have separate branch and arithmetic unit. If you want to use this all 6 instructions simultaneously, आपको जो एक ही instruction word में आपने जो 6 operation, अब इसको generally हम बोलते हैं, we will call it generally operations. So this is, let's say, operation 1 and operation 2 are for integer operations, integer arithmetics. Same way operation 3 and operation 4. So in this one instruction, whatever operations you have mentioned, so you should have sufficient resources. आपके पास उतने sufficient resources होने चाहिए. So that is for very long instruction word processor you should have this. So parallelism in programs is exposed. यहाँ पे हम पैरेललिज्म कैसे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, आप यहाँ पे पैरेललिज्म ज्यादा से ज्यादा कैसे अचीव कर सकते हो, बाय लूप अनरोलिंग, by scheduling instructions across the branches and by eliminating a globally program. So आप प्रोग्राम का पूरा बाइट कोड ऑब्जर्व होगा उसमें, और बाइट कोड को आप रीशेड्यूल कर सकते होने चाहिए. So your byte code should be reschedulable. So like that we will provide such mechanisms, loop unrolling, rescheduling, and then we are able to implement this effectively. And one of the concept that is known as stress scheduling, we will see it at the end what is a stress scheduling, but just for overview right now, stress scheduling is based on the predicting path. So जब भी आपकी कंट्रोल ट्रांसफर इंस्ट्रक्शन आएगी, ब्रांच रिलेटेड इंस्ट्रक्शन आएगी, तो उसमें हम जनरली हम क्या करते हैं, प्रिडिक्शन करते हैं. सो बेस्ड ऑन द प्रिडिक्शन पाथ, what we will do, we will track scheduling, we will decide the track, कौन से ट्रैक पे ये आगे जाएगी, कौन से आपका कंट्रोल कैसे ट्रांसफर होगा. So that will be decided. So based on the prediction bit, and based on the prediction we will take a path. So predicting the path taken by the branch operation at the compilation time. Compilation time पे हम ये predict करेंगे, compilation time पे हम ये decide करेंगे using some of the heuristic algorithms or by hint given by the programmer. So that is what is a trace scheduling. Trace scheduling is nothing but based on the prediction at the time of compilation, we will decide that in which direction your instruction will go. So that is a trace scheduling. We will see it in detail with example. But yes, trace scheduling, loop enrolling and rescheduling, ये सब कुछ यूज करके आप efficiently parallelism implement कर सकते हो. किसमें? Very long instruction word processor में. So the branch follows the predicted path. In this trace scheduling, the branch follows the predicted path. That particular become straight line code due to this prediction जब आप करोगे तो वहां पे से आप अब आपका instruction fetch करना start कर दोगे. So it will be your straight line code which supports the taking this sequence of instruction into long instruction word and storing them in instruction word processor memory. So that will be provided by this trace processor. But what are the challenges? यहाँ पे challenges क्या होंगे? What are the problems in this very long instruction word format? So we cannot provide that much level of parallelism. So that is a first disadvantage. At the programmer level, it is not possible to implement such parallelism. So lack of sufficient instruction level parallelism. Let's see, आप parallelly ऐसी 6 instructions जो मैंने बताई कि एक ही instruction में आप 6 operation perform कर सकते हो. But that is theoretically. Practically every time it is not possible. Practically आपकी हर एक instruction है, suppose this is your I1 instruction, so I1 में आप 6 operation रखोगे, I2 instruction, I2 में 6 operation रखोगे, then I3 instruction. So practically for each such instruction it is not possible to club all such 6 operation in one instruction by your compiler, because due to the availability of parallelism, due to availability of the dependency present होगी इसकी वजह से. So that is lack of sufficient instruction level parallelism. So assume that we are having 2 floating point unit are used and there are 4 stages of pipeline. So अगर आपको इसको बेस्ट यूटिलाइज करना है, एफिशिएंटली यूटिलाइज करना है, so we need at least 20 independent floating point instruction. Then and then only you can utilize it best. Remember the word, it is a 20 independent floating point instruction that should be scheduled. So ऐसा possible नहीं हो सकता कि आपके पास एक ही प्रोग्राम में आपके पास ऐसी 20 इंस्ट्रक्शन साइमल्टेनियसली आप उसको एग्जीक्यूट कर सको. So that is this is just for example that 4 stage pipeline is there and 2 FPU is there if you are having. So you require such 20 independent floating point instruction that should be scheduled to get the ideal speed up. So that is instruction level parallelism is not that much, you cannot implement that much in real world. So difficulty in building hardware also, so that kind of hardware are also very much costly, as well as synchronization between those hardware are also very much complicated. So that is a difficulty will be also there, and insufficient use of bits in a very long instruction word. So as I have told you, आपके पास जो instruction है उसमें हमने क्या डिसाइड किया 6 या 7 ऑपरेशन रखेंगे ऑपरेशन 1 ऑपरेशन 2 ऑपरेशन 3 ऑपरेशन 4 so we will keep 6 or 7 operation in one instruction but each and every time you cannot use this all 7 or 6 operation code so due to this lack of instruction level parallelism so each instruction cannot be maintained this kind of can in each instruction we cannot mention such 7 operations 6 or 7 operations so it is not always possible to pack all 7 operations in each word and so on an average about half of the word will be empty so on an average जो इंस्ट्रक्शन आप लॉन्ग इंस्ट्रक्शन यूज करोगे उसमें क्या होगा आपके हाफ ऑफ द वर्ड जो होंगे वो एम्प्टी होंगे इंस्ट्रक्शन वर्ड्स जो आपके होंगे वो एम्प्टी होंगे सो दैट विल बी द problem that these are the three disadvantages of very long instruction processor so this is one concept ये concept हम आगे implement करेंगे एक processor में so this is a concept that very long instruction आप instruction को अगर ऐसा एक ही word में आप एक से ज्यादा instruction रखोगे तो आप उसको एक process कर सकते हो but what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of this that we have seen okay so next is now we are going to discuss some of the commercial processor so as I have told you I am going to give you one example so यहाँ पे example आएगा एक ये जो long instruction word का example है this is a example IA64 processor is an example of this long instruction word processor and we will discuss this four processor in detail over here ये four processor है उसका internal block diagram और सब कुछ हम यहाँ पे discuss detail में discuss करेंगे in terms of pipelining and in terms of parallel processing और pipelining के terms में इसको हम discuss करेंगे ये बहुत ज्यादा डेप्थ में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है we just need to know only about the basic things and need to know only related to pipelining and parallel processing उतना ही अभी हमको यहाँ पे discuss करना है so we will discuss only those topics those points related to this all processor ये जो commercial processors जो already used processor है so PowerPC 620 processor which is of RISC processor Pentium processor which is well known Intel processor during 90s and 2000 Pentium processor in most of the PC they were using Pentium processor during those time and latest processor that is a i7 processor which we are currently using so what is the type of this processor CISC processor CISC means complex instruction set of computer processor so उसका internal architecture क्या है उसमें pipelining कैसे achieve होती है so we are going to discuss few points related to core i7 look we again I am telling you we are not going to discuss it in very much detail we have to just get overview we have to just get that how this pipelining can be implemented over there what are the stages of instruction कैसे execute होगी ये processors में से हर एक processor के लिए so let's start with the first one so first that is a RISC or you can say that power PC 620 so ये जो processor है this is a processor that is RISC processor and designed by IBM and Motorola so what is this processor is having so this processor generally if you will observe over here so there is an instruction cache so over here we are having bus interface unit so bus interface unit using this we will transfer data into data cache as well as we will transfer instruction into instruction cache over here it is mentioning 128 bits it means that you can simultaneously send and receive 128 bit at a time so यहाँ पे आप 128 bit at a time send and receive कर सकते हो internal bus is of 64 bit internally आप यहाँ पे 64 bit data यहाँ पे ALU में या कोई भी register में data transfer या receive कर सकते हो so internal bus is of 64 bit external bus is 128 bit so that is three arithmetical logical units are there so यहाँ पे हमारे पास ये जो architecture है उसमें हमारे पास कितने units है 3 ALU and 1 FPU 1 floating point unit is there and same way we are having instruction registers as well as floating point registers as well as we are having load and store unit and branch prediction unit so this all units are there now all of you are aware about the this description of each and every unit So branch prediction unit is there, load and store unit is there, separate instruction and data cache is there, which will allow to store instruction and data. So Power PC, ये जो आपका Power PC 620 है, that will allow 4 instructions simultaneously. One floating point instruction and 3 ALU instructions. So इसमें आप simultaneously at a time 4 instruction you can execute. So it means that you can schedule 4 instructions at a time. So super, this is again example of super scalar architecture. इसमें भी क्या implement कर सकते हो आप super scalar architecture can be implemented over here, and over here 4 instructions will be scheduled. So this is, it is a super scalar processor with hardware level parallelism of 4 instructions. And same way, branch prediction unit will predict the branch operation, and register renaming and register scoreboarding are also used in this particular Power PC 620. So over here, nothing new is there. The pipeline will be same. आपकी यहाँ पे instruction cache में आपकी instruction store होगी. One by one instruction will be fetched and decoded by this, and then it will be dispatched to your arithmetical logical unit or floating point arithmetical logical unit. Branch prediction will predict the branch and transfer the control according to that. And so simultaneously you can perform this operation. Your data will be stored later on. आपका data जो है वो यहाँ पे store होगा data cache में after performing the operation FPU or ALU operation. So that is just simple basic thing that we are discussing pipelining Power PC 620. जो हमने डिस्कस किया था वही है, यहाँ पे कुछ नया नहीं है. So only internal architecture, the same architecture is there. Okay, next. अब next जो processor है, that is a Pentium processor, second processor. This is our second and well-known Intel processor. That is a Pentium processor. Okay, in which that is a CISC processor. CISC means complex instruction set of computer. So instruction set is little bit complex. Complex instruction means your instruction size may be vary. You will have instruction set is very long. We will have different kind of operand mechanism. आप operand different types से mention कर सकते हो. So we are having lots of other facilities. So I hope all of you are aware about this RISC and CISC, difference between RISC and CISC. Okay. Now over here, this is a superscalar pipeline architecture. Over here, you can schedule 2 instructions at a time. So this is a 2 instruction superscalar pipeline architecture. And your instruction, how many stages are there in instruction? 5-stage instruction pipeline is there. So how these 5 stages will work? So in next slide, I am going to explain. ये अगर आप यहाँ पे observe करोगे, if you will observe here, then what are the units? So यहाँ पे हमारे पास instruction cache है. So here instruction cache which is of 8 KB. So that is instruction cache will be there. Just a minute. Yes. So instruction cache memory is there. Instruction cache memory which will store your instruction. So यहाँ पे आप 8 KB की कैश मेमोरी अवेलेबल है. Over here, so now 256 इंटरनल बस, यहाँ पे आप 256 बिट एट अ टाइम ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो. So prepaid buffer. So prepaid buffer will first of all fetch this instruction from instruction queue and it will decode it. So यहाँ पे अभी instruction decode नहीं होगी. This will be just prefetch. It will just prefetch your instruction. So instruction यहाँ पे आपकी prepaid buffer में आएगी. Then it will be allocated. If it is a ALU instruction, if it is an integer instruction, so it will be provided to this particular queue, QA and QB. If it is a required floating point unit, then it will be scheduled over here. So यहाँ पे वो सिर्फ ये decide करेगी whether it is it require integer ALU or floating point ALU. Now once it require integer ALU, then there will be, you can say that you can schedule 2 instructions simultaneously in QA and QB. So आप दोनों यहाँ पे simultaneously schedule कर सकते हो, so that instruction will be decoded and then उस पे parity check होगा. So parity check will be there. So that I already told you जब हम 80486 discuss कर रहे थे तब मैंने ये आपको so this is just nothing but a one step advance from 80486 processor. जो 80486 प्रोसेसर हम डिस्कस किया था उसका ये एक स्टेप एडवांस है पेंटियम प्रोसेसर. So that is parity check. Parity checker is there, and we are using BTB branch target buffer. We are using. So if your instruction is branch instruction, so it will search into BTB. वो BTB में search होगा, and from the BTB you will get the destination address, and that destination address will be again provided into. So that is now we are having two ALU. Is there any problem in any meeting? Is there any problem? Okay. Okay. So due to this, what we are doing, let's say that, so over here, based on the whether it is a branch instruction or not, we will search it into BTB, and then BTB we will get, if it we will found it into BTB, so it is called BTB 8. So we will get this target address, and again it will be provided from the target address. We will fetch the instruction, and then we will provide it to the one of the queue. Same way, if this instruction is not there in a BTB, अगर वो BTB में नहीं है, so you will get this information over here. Decode करने के बाद पहली बार अगर वो instruction execute हो रही है, so either from this unit you will get the target address, and then it will be stored in the BTB. So अगर पहली बार instruction आपकी हो रही है तो यहाँ पे आपका BTB में वो information है वो store हो जाएगी by U or V. यहाँ पे U and V is nothing, they are just name given to this arithmetical logical unit. So that is a U integer unit and V integer unit. So, and then it require access to internal register files, and then data will be stored into data cache memory. Same way, if floating point instruction is there, so floating point instruction can be also use this data. So this is nothing but 5-stage instruction pipeline, and how this 5-stage instruction pipeline can be executed. So here, these are the 5 stages of instruction pipeline. Prefetch stage, so your particular instruction, Pentium instruction are variable length and are stored in the prefetch buffer. There is a 256-bit path from instruction cache to the prefetch buffer. So prefetch buffer में आपकी instruction prefetch हो जाएगी. So that is a prefetch stage. So prefetch instruction. Then decode 1 and decode 2. So decode 1, in this stage the processor decodes the instruction and find the opcode and addressing information and checks which instruction can be paired for simultaneous execution. So वो यहाँ पे instruction scheduling यहाँ पे होगा. Decoding stage पे आपका अगर rescheduling आप करना चाहते हो, so instruction can be rescheduled over here. Execution will be done. So यहाँ पे pairing of the instruction can be done, and it will observe that which instruction you can pair together. So if there is a branch instruction, so branch prediction can be also done. So then decode this step, decode 2. So address from for memory reference are found in this particular stage. So अगर आपकी memory reference instruction है तो decode 2 stage में वो उसको कौन सा एड्रेस पे से आप मेमोरी रीड या राइट करोगे, और फिर मेमोरी रीड या राइट करके आपका डेटा जो भी रजिस्टर में चाहिए वो रजिस्टर में आप डेटा स्टोर करोगे. सो ऑपरेंड फेच अल्टीमेटली मेमोरी में से ऑपरेंड फेच करना है तो then execution stage, so ALU and FPU are available, and then it is performing respective operations, and the last stage is write back stage. So registers and flags are updated based on the result of the execution. So this is how your pipeline. So ये जो दो pipeline यहाँ पे integer pipeline unit है उसको diagram यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. So prefetch, decode 1, decode 2, execute and write back. These are the stage name, and these are the operations that has been performed in each and every stages. Right now we have considered this diagram. There is no any delay, there is no any difficulty. We have considered this ideal diagram. So यहाँ पे अभी हमने ideal diagram consider किया हुआ है. So they say in this way your pipelines will be used. Okay, so this is Pentium processor, and then as I have told you that in this Pentium processor, during the decoding phase, we can pair two instructions. So Pentium has two arithmetical logical unit named U and V and can be executed simultaneously. So two instructions can be dispatched in parallel to unit U and V. So उसके लिए कुछ conditions होगी. So that conditions, if that satisfied, then and then only that can both instruction will be paired. One instruction in U pipeline and second instruction in V pipeline. So U pipeline, or you can say that U in arithmetical logical unit and V arithmetical logical unit. So उसमें वो allocate होंगे. So when it will be allocated, वो allocate कब होंगे? U and V based on these conditions. So conditions क्या है? What are these conditions? So if this condition is satisfied, then and then only this both instruction can be scheduled simultaneously. So इसमें आप सुपर स्केलर इंप्लीमेंट तभी कर सकते हो ये I1 and I2 के ऊपर. I1 and I2 दोनों एक साथ शेड्यूल कब कर सकते हो? If those instructions are scheduled, if those instructions are simple instruction. What do you mean by simple instruction? An instruction is called a simple if it can be carried out in one clock cycle. So पहले तो वो पहली कंडीशन क्या है? That it should be carried out in one clock cycle. One clock cycle means आपके जो इसके जो stages है, आप यहाँ पे प्रीफेज आपका प्रीफेज स्टेज है, आपका डिकोड स्टेज है, ये सब कुछ एक ही क्लॉक साइकिल में कंप्लीट हो जाना चाहिए. इट शुड बी कंप्लीटेड इन वन क्लॉक साइकिल. आपके स्टेजेस है उसमें एक एक क्लॉक साइकिल ही लगनी चाहिए दोनों I1 एंड I2. देन दैट इंस्ट्रक्शन इज नोन एज सिंपल इंस्ट्रक्शन. तो वो हम यहाँ पे पहली कंडीशन होगी आपकी that both instructions would be simple instruction. Then I1 and I2 are not flow dependent or output dependent. उसमें डेटा डिपेंडेंसी नहीं होनी चाहिए. कौन से टाइप की डेटा डिपेंडेंसी? फ्लो डिपेंडेंसी as well as output dependency. So it should not be there in your these two instruction, between these two instruction. And only I1 may contain instruction prefix. So आपके I1 मीन्स यू पाइपलाइनिंग में आप जो इंस्ट्रक्शन असाइन करोगे उसमें ही वो इंस्ट्रक्शन प्रीफिक्स अलाउ है. प्रीफिक्स इंस्ट्रक्शन प्रीफिक्स जनरली हम कहाँ पे यूज करते हैं? सो वी हैव सीन इट, वो हमने ऑलरेडी देखा है. सेगमेंट रजिस्टर मेंशन करने के लिए जो हमने देखा था, मूव इंस्ट्रक्शन हमने बहुत सारे एग्जांपल कंसीडर किए थे. मूव लेट्स से दैट R3 एंड लेट्स से दैट R4. Let's say that move R3 and let's say that we are having some number over here. Let's say that we are having address over here 2, 3, 4, 5. So whether this address you want to consider for code segment or data segment, so you can add segment prefix over here. अब अगर आपको एक्स्ट्रा सेगमेंट का यहाँ पे यूज करना है तो आप ऐसे भी मेंशन कर सकते हो ESN 2, 3, 4, 5. तो ये जो सेगमेंट प्रीफिक्स होगा वो कहाँ पे अटैच होगा और वो कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन में अलाउ होगा? सो इट विल बी अलाउ ओनली फॉर I1. I1 may contain such instruction prefix and prefix can be of 0 to 4 byte long. It specifies the address size, operand size, segment register and many other things you can mention in prefix. But for our purpose, point is what? Prefix is allowed only for I1 instruction. And last point is neither I1 nor I2 contains displacement and immediate operand. उसमें ये दोनों नहीं होने चाहिए. It should not have this both displacement and immediate operand. Immediate operand भी नहीं होना चाहिए as well as displacement भी आपने mention नहीं किया होना चाहिए. So all such instructions you can schedule together, I1 and I2, if they are following these four conditions. Then you can schedule together I1 and I2. This instruction can be scheduled in one pipeline. In one at a one clock particular clock cycle. So यहाँ पे आप वो instruction schedule कर सकते हो if they follow this four stages. So that is about the pairing of instruction in Pentium. And now for branch instruction in Pentium. Pentium में जो branch instruction जो हम use करेंगे, so वो मैंने already आपको explain किया कि हम यहाँ पे क्या यूज कर रहे हैं? BTB, branch target buffer. So when an instruction is fetched, it will be checked in the BTB. So if it is found in the BTB, then it is taken a branch instruction and prediction is made using the prediction bit, and target address is used to fetch the next instruction. And if it is not found in the BTB, then you have to update. Once you will decode the instruction and you will find the target address, then you have to make entry in the BTB. So BTB में वो entry होगी. So instruction in the prefetch buffer are fed into one of the two instruction queue called A and B. So जैसे मैंने आपको ये डायग्राम में बताया कि यहाँ पे जो आपकी प्रीफेच बफर में जो इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी वो हम कहाँ पे प्रोवाइड करेंगे. वी विल प्रोवाइड इट टू आइदर क्यू और क्यू ए और क्यू बी. देयर आर टू क्यूज. So either this instruction will be provided into QA or it will be provided into QB. So based on this, now over here, so instruction in the prefetch buffer are provided into one of the instruction queue A or B. So now let's say that instruction for execution are retrieved from only one of this instruction. Let's say that from Q. And when the branch instruction is predicted as a taken, then the current queue is frozen. It means that it will be frozen and your instructions are fetched from the branch address and placed into next QB. So let me go to that particular diagram and again explain it. So अगर suppose ये instruction आपकी यहाँ पे fetch हुई, आपने यहाँ पे ये क्यू में इंस्ट्रक्शन आपने प्रोवाइड की हुई है, एंड दैट इंस्ट्रक्शन ओवर हियर यू हैव डिकोडेड इट एंड यू हैव फाउंड दिस दैट इज ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन. सो अगर वो ऑलरेडी आपको बीटीबी में से मिल जाएगी, तो एट दिस मोमेंट व्हाट यू विल डू, वी विल टारगेट, वी विल लोड दिस, वी विल एक्सट्रैक्ट द टारगेट एड्रेस, डेस्टिनेशन एड्रेस, एंड देन वी विल फेच द इंस्ट्रक्शन फ्रॉम दैट इट एंड वी विल प्रोवाइड इट टू द क्यू बी. दूसरी क्यू में उसको प्रोवाइड कर देंगे टारगेट एड्रेस. एंड टेम्पररी वी विल एग्जीक्यूट दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन एंड देन वी विल फ्रीज दिस पाइपलाइन. ये पाइपलाइन आगे नहीं बढ़ाएंगे. Once this instruction will be executed and then we will continue this pipeline. If your instruction, if your prediction is correct, अगर आपका prediction यहाँ पे हम pipelining आगे बढ़ाएंगे and we will fetch the target address from this pipeline into this pipeline. And if your prediction is correct, then we will continue this execution of this pipeline. Otherwise, what we will do, we will flush this and we will continue execution this pipeline. ये pipeline हम execution continue करेंगे. So that is just execution how we will follow this pipeline mechanism over here. So when a branch instruction is there, when branch instruction is predicted as a taken, then the current instruction queue is frozen and instructions are fetched from the branch target address and placed in the second queue. If the prediction is correct, then QB is operational, else instructions are taken from our whatever instruction is there, QA. So the BTB in the Pentium has 256 entry. आप जो BTB यहाँ पे हम use कर रहे हैं branch prediction के लिए, उसमें कितनी entry हो सकती है? 256 entry. And each entry is 66 bit long. So उसमें 32 bit का आपका branch instruction का खुद का address होगा and 32 bit address of your destination and 2 bit history. So ultimately आपका जो BTB है उसमें ये जो 3 field है, ultimately BTB है, it consists of 3 field. Your instruction, your branch instruction address of your branch instruction, your target address instruction, आप कहाँ पे jump करने वाले हो, and prediction bit. So prediction bit. तो इसकी size क्या होगी? 32. What is the size over here? एक entry की size यहाँ पे क्या होगी? 32. And so 32 plus 32, 64, and then 2 bit over here, so that is a total 66 bit. So each entry is of 66 bit long. And how many such entries will be there in our BTB? ऐसी कितनी entry होगी? So we will have 0 to 255 such entries in there. So it means that आपके program में आप 255 जितनी instructions के लिए आप इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर कर सकते हो. ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए आप यहाँ पे बीटीबी में इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर कर सकते हो. So that is about this Pentium processor. Any doubt in this Pentium processor पे हमने क्या क्या डिस्कस किया? In Pentium processor we have seen first of all what are the pipeline stages. Then we have seen what are the conditions for pairing of instruction, and then we have seen how we will execute this branch instruction. Branch instruction इसमें कैसे execute करेंगे? Is there any doubt in this? Is it clear? Branch instruction as well as, so we have seen two commercial processor. अभी हमने दो commercial processor complete किए हैं. Still we are going to discuss two more. But first of all, is it clear till now? यहाँ तक सब कुछ clear है? Any doubt is there? Okay. Okay. So let's go for the next topic, that is next. Another processor, that is a 64-bit processor IA, Intel architecture in 64-bit processor. It is also known as EPIC, or you can say that explicitly parallel instruction computer. So this is example of our which kind of instruction जो previously मैंने long instruction word format जो यहाँ पे जो मैंने आपको explain किया था, is very long instruction or processor. This is which kind of example? ये जो processor यहाँ पे हमने ये दोनों complete किए हैं. Now we are going to discuss this three. This is long instruction word processor. So in this, let's see this. What is this? So very long instruction word processor. So ये जो है वो fully 64-bit computer है, which with 64-bit registers. आपके जो internal registers है उसकी size क्या है? 64-bit, as well as 64-bit address space. It means that the address memory which we are using in this, उसमें आपकी जो एड्रेस है, एड्रेस कैपेसिटी है वो कितनी है? सो हर एक लाइन में आप कितने बिट स्टोर कर रहे हो? सो 64 बिट. 64 bit address capacity as well as 64 bit registers are there. So now what is this? So how many registers are there, and based on that we will use it. So let's see it. इसका जो एग्जांपल है वो हम देखेंगे. एक पूरा इसका इंस्ट्रक्शन का फॉर्मेट है वो हम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में देखेंगे. सो इट इज कॉल्ड दिस IA64 प्रोसेसर इज आल्सो कॉल्ड EPIC, or you can say that explicitly parallel instruction computer. So इसके लिए ये IA64 प्रोसेसर इंप्लीमेंट करने के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए? An important idea in designing of this computer is to use an intelligent compiler which expose the parallelism available in the program and reduce the work to be done at the runtime by the hardware. सो वो कंपाइल टाइम पे ही वो डिसाइड कर देगा कि आप कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन पैरेलली एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो, कौन सी नहीं कर सकते हो. सो ऑल द पैरेलल हार्डवेयर फीचर्स सच एज द नंबर ऑफ फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट यूनिट्स, इंटीजर यूनिट इज also known to compiler earlier so that compiler can be schedule your instruction effectively. So आपके पास कितने resources है वो compiler को पहले से ही पता होगा, and based on this it will schedule your instruction. So our main point is this is our instruction. One instruction. ये एक instruction है आपकी. This is one instruction. So your one instruction word which is of 128 bit. आपका जो एक instruction word होगा वो यहाँ पे कितने bit का होगा? So 128 bits will be there. So its instruction word is 128 bit long. And what is the format? यहाँ पे जो format है वो आपको सामने दिया हुआ है. So 41 bits and 41 bits. So 41 bits, 41 bits, 41 bits. You will have 3 instructions. And each this instruction contains this kind of field: operation group, आप जो ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करना चाहते हो उसका ग्रुप क्या है, ऑपरेशन टाइप वो कौन से टाइप का ऑपरेशन है, सो ऑपकोड अल्टीमेटली आपका ऑपकोड जो होगा वो, देन रजिस्टर्स विच यू आर यूजिंग, सो हियर you can use three register, what two register is a source, one register is a destination, so that is a 7 bit we require over here. So 7 bit means how many general purpose registers are there, 128 general purpose registers are there. So if 128 general purpose registers, then 7 bits are enough. So 7 bit for your registers indicating registers, 6 bit for your predictor registers. आपके पास टोटल के कितने प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर है, सो दिस इज न्यू, दिस कॉन्सेप्ट इज न्यू एंड वी विल डिस्कस इट इन नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कि ये प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर्स कैसे यूज होंगे, हाउ इट इज एसोसिएटेड विद दिस ईच एंड एवरी इंस्ट्रक्शन, ब्रांच टाइप इंस्ट्रक्शन के साथ इसको हम यूज करेंगे. सो दैट इज अ प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर. हाउ मेनी प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर्स आर अवेलेबल इन दिस प्रोसेसर, इसमें कितने हैं, 64. सो इट मींस दैट 2 to 6 इज इक्वल टू 64. सो 6 बिट्स आर इनफ. आप कौन सा बिट, कौन सा प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर यूज कर रहे हो वो इंडिकेट करने के लिए 6 बिट्स हम यहाँ पे यूज करेंगे. एंड व्हाट इज द साइज ऑफ ईच प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर, जो आपका प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर है वो उसकी साइज क्या है, इट इज जस्ट 1 bit लॉन्ग. सो 1 bit प्रेडिक्शन वी आर यूजिंग ओवर हियर. सो वो क्या होगा, दैट वी विल डिस्कस इट विद एग्जांपल, ये हम डिस्कस करेंगे. बट अल्टीमेटली अगर आप टोटल करोगे तो यहाँ पे 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 10 plus 4, so it is 41. So your instruction, one instruction in this word, ये पूरा आपका word होगा. Word means एक ये आपकी instruction होगी, ये generally we will call it as one instruction, and this one instruction contains 3 sub instructions, and one of the sub instruction is having this kind of arrangement. This is a format for your instruction in IA64 processor. And this 5-bit field, what is this 5-bit field? So this 5-bit field is known as template field. So हमारे पास यहाँ पे जो मल्टीपल इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी उसको जनरली हम बोलते हैं ऑपरेशन. सो मल्टीपल ऑपरेशन होंगे, ऑपरेशन 1, ऑपरेशन 2, ऑपरेशन 3. सेम वे इसके बाद वाला जो वर्ड हो गया उसमें भी हमारे पास ऑपरेशन 1, ऑपरेशन 2, ऑपरेशन 3 ऐसे ऑपरेशंस होंगे. तो ये जो ऐसे ऑपरेशन 2, 3, ये जो 2 कंसेक्यूटिव वर्ड्स होंगे उसमें से कौन से ऑपरेशन आप साइमल्टेनियसली परफॉर्म कर सकते हो, दैट इंफॉर्मेशन विल बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय दिस टेम्पलेट फील्ड. सो यहाँ पे आपको क्या चाहिए, so our instruction is 128 bit long and all the this kind of things I have explained. Now an intelligent compiler is planned which explicitly detects which instruction can be carried out in parallel. ये जो एक word है आपका, this is your word 1 and this is let's say that word 2, इसके बाद जो होगा वो आपका second word होगा, उसमें भी ऐसी आपके पास let's say that this is I4, I5 and I6. सो ऐसी जो इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. सो ये जो 6 इंस्ट्रक्शन है उसमें से कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन आप पैरेलली एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो, which instruction can be executed parallelly. This information is put into 5-bit template field which identifies the instruction in the current bundle of the 3 instruction and in the following bundle of the 3 इंस्ट्रक्शन कैन बी कैरिड आउट पैरेलली. तो ये इंफॉर्मेशन आपको ये टेम्पलेट फील्ड में से मिल जाएगी कि I1 I4 पैरेलली कर सकते हो या I1 I3 पैरेलली कर सकते हो या I1 के साथ आप I6 कर सकते हो, सेम वे I2 के साथ कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन पैरेलली कर सकते हो. सो दिस इंफॉर्मेशन विल बी डिसाइडेड बाय दिस टेम्पलेट फील्ड, वो आपकी टेम्पलेट फील्ड डिजाइन करेगा. सो दैट इज इंस्ट्रक्शन, which instruction will be decided parallelly, that will be designed by this template field. And in this processor how we will handle the branch को कैसे handle करेंगे. So let's say that this is example, one of the example over here, I1, I2, I3. Our I3 instruction is a branch related instruction. Branch कैसी है, look at this. If x, so if x is equal to true or if x is equal to false, so अगर x की वैल्यू true है तो हम ए पे जंप करेंगे, अगर x की वैल्यू फॉल्स है तो हम b पे जंप करेंगे. सो a लेबल है यहाँ पे एंड b इज लेबल ओवर हियर. And these are the instruction for you can say that I have renamed this instruction. So rename this instruction with 456 over here 456, and I have attached with another bit over here. So that is a P1. So जो predictor bit हम यहाँ पे use करेंगे. So जो आपकी instruction है I1 normal instruction है, I2 is also normal instruction, I3 जो है वो भी आपकी कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन है, ब्रांच टाइप की. तो उसमें सपोज हम एक ये रजिस्टर यूज कर रहे हैं, प्रिडिक्टर रजिस्टर, प्रिडिकेट रजिस्टर. तो कौन सा रजिस्टर हम यहाँ पे यूज कर रहे हैं, P1. तो ये रजिस्टर आप यूज करोगे तो अब P1 है वो ये इंस्ट्रक्शन के साथ भी एसोसिएट हो जाएगा जहां पे आपको जंप करना है. सो जंप के दो रास्ते हैं. सो दिस इज योर फर्स्ट वे एंड दिस इज योर सेकंड वे. सो P1 will be associated with all this. So हम इसको कैसे एसोसिएट करेंगे. सो P1 की वैल्यू 1 है. So अगर P1, if P1 equal to true, if P1 is equal to evaluated as a true, then we will follow this, and P1 is evaluated as a false, then we will follow this. So we will associate this. So instead of predicting, अब हम यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे, we will not predict that whether the condition will be true or condition will be false. We will fetch instruction from both the pipeline, or you can say that from the both the location. यहां से भी इंस्ट्रक्शन फेच करेंगे, यहां से भी इंस्ट्रक्शन फेच करेंगे. यहां से जो इंस्ट्रक्शन फेच करेंगे उसके साथ P1 की वैल्यू क्या एसोसिएट करेंगे, 1. We will associate P1 equal to 1 for all such instruction, and we will associate P1 equal to 0 for all such instructions. Yeah. So इसको यहाँ पे मैंने नेम दिया हुआ है just to identify it. I40, I50 and I60, and this is I41, I51 and I61. So ये आपका I41 है, उसके साथ जो प्रेडिक्टर रजिस्टर है उसमें हमने अभी 1 एसोसिएट किया हुआ है. सेम वे 40 में 0, 50 में 0. सो ये एक बंडल हो गया आपका. दिस इज योर वन वर्ड नंबर 1, एंड दिस इज योर वर्ड नंबर 2. सो उसमें 51, 60, 61 ऐसे इंस्ट्रक्शन हम यहाँ पे शेड्यूल करेंगे. नाउ व्हाट वी विल डू, जब तक ये आपकी इंस्ट्रक्शन डिकोड होगी it will execute it. So once it will be executed, it will be found whether the P1 equal to 0 or P1 equal to 1. So that will be decided. So यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे, instead of predicting which branch will be taken and carried out instruction along with the branch. So normal case में हम क्या करेंगे, normal cases जो अब तक जो हमने prediction use किया था उसमें हम क्या करेंगे, we will predict it whether the branch is taken. So अगर predict करेंगे कि branch लेंगे तो हम क्या करेंगे, so we will consider this, let's say that. So we will just fetch these instructions only. We will not fetch this instruction. Up till now whatever we have discussed branch prediction, उसमें हम क्या करते थे, branch prediction करते थे तो उसमें हम क्या करते थे, we will predict that branch is taken suppose. So हम यहाँ से जो instruction होगी वही fetch करेंगे. Suppose we have predicted that branch is not taken. So we will just fetch this instruction. We will not fetch this instruction. But in this IA64 processor, we will fetch this both instruction. दोनों instruction को fetch करेंगे, दोनों location से instruction को fetch करेंगे. So IA64 schedules instruction in the both branches till such point that the results are not committed in memory. ये instructions को हम continue करेंगे कब तक, इसमें जो राइट वाला जो साइकिल होगी, राइट रिजल्ट इन योर रजिस्टर और मेमोरी, वो नहीं आएगा तब तक हम इसको कंटिन्यू करेंगे. एज वेल एज जो आपकी ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन है वो इवेल्युएट होगी ट्रू या फॉल्स. सो वंस इट विल बी इवेल्युएटेड देन वी विल डिस्कार्ड इट. सो उसके बाद इसको हम डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे. सपोज आपकी ब्रांच है वो इवेल्युएट ट्रू हुई तो ये फॉल्स वाली ब्रांच हम सभी डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे. जिसके साथ P1 आपने 0 एसोसिएट किया था वो सभी इंस्ट्रक्शन आप डिस्कार्ड कर दोगे. So when a prediction instruction is encountered, it attaches a prediction register say P1 to instruction and to each such instruction along with the 2 branches. So ये दोनों branches के साथ आप इसको ये P1 को associate करेंगे, and if the P1 field is set to 1, to the true branch and set to 0 along the false branch. And when the prediction is evaluated, the P1 register gets the value either 0 or 1, and depending on the value whether the X is true or false. So if it is true, then we will discard this P1 equal to 0. So जैसे मैंने बताया, अगर X की वैल्यू ट्रू मिलेगी तो इस ये इंस्ट्रक्शन की वजह से जो होगा वो सब कुछ हम डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे, एंड ये इंस्ट्रक्शन की वजह से जो भी हुआ उसको हम कमिट कर देंगे. So this is over here. We will commit only this instruction if your X is evaluated as a true. If your X is evaluated as a false, तो हम क्या करेंगे? So we will commit this whole instruction and we will discard this whole instruction. So this kind of execution is known as speculative execution. ये जो execution हम कर रहे हैं branching के लिए, ये execution को हम क्या बोल रहेंगे? Speculative execution. इसको सिंपली अगर इसको आपको मैं इसको सिंपली कोई एनालॉजी देना चाहूंगा आपको. So let's consider that I have told you that you have to submit me your assignments on this particular day. Otherwise, you have to follow the course, or you have to do this as an assignment number 1, or you have to do this as an assignment number 1. I have given you 2 paths. और दोनों में मैंने डिफिकल्टी लेवल बहुत हार्ड रखा है. यू आर नॉट एबल टू सोल्व द क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम असाइनमेंट नंबर 1 और असाइनमेंट नंबर 1A और असाइनमेंट नंबर 1B. दोनों में मैंने डिफिकल्टी लेवल बहुत हार्ड रखा है. तो आप क्या करोगे? दोनों असाइनमेंट ट्राई करोगे. असाइनमेंट 1 भी ट्राई करोगे, असाइनमेंट 2 भी ट्राई करोगे. एंड आफ्टर ट्राइंग बोथ द असाइनमेंट, वंस यू विल गेट द ऑल द आंसर्स फ्रॉम असाइनमेंट नंबर 1A, so what you will do, अपने असाइनमेंट नंबर 1B में जो भी क्वेश्चन सोल्व किए होंगे वो आप डिस्कार्ड कर दोगे. So same thing is following over here. दोनों ब्रांचेस से हम इंस्ट्रक्शन फेच करेंगे, उसको डिकोड करते जाएंगे. दोनों ब्रांचेस लोकेशन पे से यहां से भी फेच करेंगे, डिकोड करेंगे, एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे, यहां से भी फेच करेंगे, डिकोड करेंगे, एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे. बट दोनों में से सिर्फ एक ही का रिजल्ट है वो फाइनली कमिट करेंगे. एक का रिजल्ट है वो हम डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे. सो वो कौन सा डिस्कार्ड होगा, कौन सा कमिट होगा, वो तो कब पता चलेगा? जब आपकी I3 इंस्ट्रक्शन सक्सेसफुली कंप्लीट हो जाएगी, उसके बाद ही. तब तक दोनों लोकेशन से हम इंस्ट्रक्शन फेच करेंगे, डिकोड करेंगे, जो भी आएगा, जितना भी साइकिल में चलता जाएगा, तब तक वो हम करते जाएंगे. बट वंस दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन इज एनकाउंटर एज अ ट्रू और एज अ फॉल्स, I3 जब कंप्लीट हो जाएगी और कंप्लीट होने के बाद आपको पता चल जाएगा कि ना, यस दिस इज अ ट्रू, सो नाउ वी विल डिस्कार्ड दिस, वी विल जस्ट कंटिन्यू दिस, और इसका जो भी रिजल्ट होगा वो हम राइट करेंगे. एंड वन इट विल बी एनकाउंटर एज अ फॉल्स, तो इसकी वजह से जो आपने परफॉर्म किया है वो सब कुछ आप डिस्कार्ड कर दोगे एंड यू विल यूज दिस ओनली. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ एग्जीक्यूशन इज नोन एज स्पेक्युलेटिव एग्जीक्यूशन और स्पेक्युलेटिव इवेल्युएशन. ये जो इंस्ट्रक्शन है, व्हेन अ कंपाइलर हैज अ ग्लोबल लुक एट योर प्रोग्राम, इट विल असाइन ओनली सिलेक्टेड ब्रांचेस फॉर सच स्पेक्युलेटिव एग्जीक्यूशन. आपके पास अगर ऐसी बहुत सारी इंस्ट्रक्शन है, सपोज ये तो एक I3 हुई, ऐसी सपोज बहुत सारी इंस्ट्रक्शन है I5, I6, I7, तो हर एक इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए हम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. हर एक इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए ये दोनों जगह से हम फेच नहीं करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि हमारे पास जो प्रिडिक्शन रजिस्टर्स है that are limited. So 64 इंस्ट्रक्शंस के लिए आप ऐसा कर सकते हो, 64 ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन तक आप ऐसा कर सकते हो. बट अगर आपकी प्रोग्राम में 64 से ज्यादा ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन आएगी, तब आपको सिलेक्टिवली इसको यूज करना होगा. हर एक ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए आप ये यूज नहीं करोगे. यू विल यूज इट फॉर ओनली सिलेक्टेड ब्रांच. सो ये जो स्पेक्युलेटिव एग्जीक्यूशन है वो आप किसके लिए करोगे? सो स्पेक्युलेटिव इवेल्युएशन और एग्जीक्यूशन विल बी डन फॉर ओनली सिलेक्टेड ब्रांच. व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर आर ओनली 64 रजिस्टर्स, एंड जनरली it is the observation that every 6 instruction in the program is branch instruction. So ऐसा आपका सपोज 100 लाइन का कोड है, तो हर एक इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए, हर एक ब्रांच इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए हम ये नहीं कर सकते. So only for selected branch instruction we will maintain this speculative evaluation or speculative execution. So what is a speculative execution? ये जो simultaneously दोनों लोकेशन से इंस्ट्रक्शन को फेच करना, उसको एग्जीक्यूट करना, फिर Based on the condition, later we will just commit one and discard the other. That execution is known as speculative execution. So is it clear? ये जो है वो IA64 प्रोसेसर के बारे में. Any doubt in this IA64 processor? Any doubt in this? Is it clear? You need to understand just basic things about the processors which you are discussing over here. Commercial processors जो हम यहाँ पे discuss कर रहे हैं. Is it clear? Any doubt in this? Okay. Okay. So let me go for the latest processor, that is a Core i7. So Core i7 में क्या होगा? How we will execute our, or what is inside this Core i7 processor? So as all of you are already aware about the Core i7 processor, so Core i7 processor is 64-bit processor. And as all of you are already aware, it is multi-core processor. So what do you mean by multi-core? Multi-core means on one chip, you will have several identical processors. They are embedded in one chip. It means that if you are having single core, it means that you will have only one processing element. But if you are having multiple core, so in one chip we are having multiple processors and which share a common memory. So how many cores will be there? i7 में कितने cores available होगी? So that you have to find out. It depends. आप i7 का कौन सा version use करोगे? i7 कौन सा 5th generation, 4th generation, as well as i7 में भी बहुत सारे versions आते हैं. Intels are specifying different series. So कौन सी series आप use कर रहे हो? So as based on that, i7 can have multiple cores. अब वो आपको एक या दो एग्जांपल्स मुझे प्रोवाइड करने होंगे. यू हैव टू गिव आंसर ऑफ दिस. i7 में कितने कोर्स होंगे? दैट इज योर क्वेश्चन एंड यू नीड टू आंसर मी इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. आप नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में मुझे ये आंसर कर सकते हो. सो हाउ मेनी कोर्स विल बी देयर इन कोर i7? कोर i7 में कितने कोर्स होंगे? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 और as the name suggests, seven core. Whatever you have to give me the answer. Search it. Then we will discuss it. वो हम डिस्कस करेंगे बाद में. But this is just multi-core processor. So this is a multi-core processor. It is also multi-threaded. So now I hope all of you are aware about what is a threading and what is a multi-threading. So multi-threading is also possible. Multi-threading is supported by this Core i7. And Core i7 is also superscalar processor which can carry out 4 instructions per cycle. Per cycle, 4 instructions you can execute. And the instruction set of Core i7 is complex. So this is a CISC, complex instruction set of computer. So each instruction can be of length. आपकी हर एक इंस्ट्रक्शन है उसकी लेंथ क्या हो सकती है? 1 to 17 bytes. 1 to 17 byte instruction can be there, long instruction can be there, and each i7 instruction is translated into micro operations. This is an important point. आपकी जो i7 की एक इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी वो किस में कन्वर्ट होगी? माइक्रो ऑपरेशंस में. Your instruction will be converted into micro operations. So in computer organization subject, we have already learned this micro operations. That will be controlled by your micro program control unit. Micro program control unit वो control करेगा. So micro operations will be of uniform length. And micro operations, or you can say that micro instruction, can just be scheduled for like your superscalar RISC pipeline. And the pipeline stages over here in Core i7, the pipeline stages can be 14 stage. And 4 instructions can be issued at a time. So it means that in superscalar architecture, 4 instruction is supported over here. And what are the stages of pipelining? 14 stages are there. We are not going to discuss each and every stage in detail. We are just going to discuss the overall view of your pipeline, or you can say that instruction execution. आपकी इंस्ट्रक्शन कैसे एग्जीक्यूट होगी वो यहाँ पे हम सिर्फ डिस्कस करेंगे. दिस इज जस्ट टू गेट टू अवेयर अबाउट यू द लेटेस्ट प्रोसेसर कैसे वर्क करता है. Again, this is not, I am not saying that this is a complete description, or you can say that this is a complete guideline for your instruction execution in I7. We are just, I am just giving you overview over here using 2-3 slides. So पूरा हर एक इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए सब हम यहाँ पे डिटेल में डिस्कस नहीं कर सकते हैं. वी आर जस्ट गिविंग यू ओवरव्यू ओवर हियर. इन आवर सिलेबस यू विल जस्ट गेट ओवरव्यू. If you want to learn it in detail, latest processor के बारे में आपको डिटेल में लर्न करना है, you can refer this data sheet of Intel processor Core i7 and you can refer it. उसमें पूरा आपको एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया होगा कि इंस्ट्रक्शन एग्जीक्यूट होगी तो उसमें ये जो 14 स्टेज की पाइपलाइन है तो उसमें हर एक स्टेज में क्या होगा. Over here we are just going to discuss overview. डिटेल में डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे. So what will be the internal, how this is micro architecture of your i7 processor. So i7 processor में जो अब इंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए जो ब्लॉक्स चाहिए वो यहाँ पे इंडिकेट किए हुए हैं. So that's why it is known as micro architecture. ये पूरा आर्किटेक्चर नहीं है. This is just one part of your architecture. So instruction cache, we will have 32 KB cache over there. Instruction cache जिसमें हम instruction store करेंगे. So 32 KB instruction cache which stores sequence of i7 instruction and from the compile code. So compile करने के बाद जो instruction आएगी वो यहाँ पे आएगी. Okay, then pre-decode instruction. So आपकी instruction decode होगी और decode होने से पहले वो क्या होगा. So instruction fetch unit determines आपके यहाँ पे अब क्या होगा. Block number 2 will determines the address from where an instruction is to be fetched by consulting a branch prediction. So your instruction will be decoded. This is called pre-decode stage, or you can say that instruction fetch stage. So ये जो हमारे पास कैश मेमोरी होगी उसमें से कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन फैच होगी, कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन नेक्स्ट एग्जीक्यूट होगी. So everything will be decided. If there is a branch instruction, then branch में से कौन से लोकेशन पे. So by using the branch predictor we'll do it. So branch predictor का यूज करके हम सब कुछ यहाँ पे करेंगे and then instruction will be fetched and it will be provided into instruction queue में हम provide करेंगे. But इंस्ट्रक्शन सिर्फ यहाँ पे फैच नहीं करेंगे, इंस्ट्रक्शन को माइक्रो ऑपरेशन में डिवाइड भी करेंगे. सो इंस्ट्रक्शन आपकी जो होगी वो माइक्रो ऑपरेशन में डिवाइड होगी. सो माइक्रो ऑपरेशन मींस व्हाट. सो जो मैंने आपको बताया आपकी जो पूरी इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी उसको फिक्स साइज के ऑपरेशन में डिवाइड करेंगे हम यहाँ पे. ऑपरेशन 1, ऑपरेशन 2, ऑपरेशन 3 एंड विच ऑपरेशन कैन बी एग्जीक्यूटेड साइमल्टेनियसली दैट विल बी डिसाइडेड. सो आपकी 2 या 3 ऐसी कंसेक्यूटिव इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी उसमें से कौन से ऑपरेशन साइमल्टेनियसली एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो. सपोज आपकी ये इंस्ट्रक्शन है, पहली कंपेयर इंस्ट्रक्शन है. ओवर हियर सपोज यू आर हैविंग कंपेयर इंस्ट्रक्शन एंड देन यू आर हैविंग बेस्ड ऑन द कंपेयर इंस्ट्रक्शन वी विल परफॉर्म जंप. So these two instruction can be combined in one. So that is all the things has been done by this micro operation fusion. So macro operation fusion क्या करेगा. Macro operation fusion unit it will perform macro operation fusion. So macro operation fusion unit will optimize. It is a hardware optimization technique in which a series of adjacent macro operations are merged into a single macro operation. एक ही मैक्रो ऑपरेशन में वो जो आपकी 2 या 3 जो आप एक साथ परफॉर्म कर सकते हो उसको कन्वर्ट करके अब एक ही इंस्ट्रक्शन बना देगा. सो दैट इज वन मैक्रो इंस्ट्रक्शन इट विल फॉर्म प्रायर ऑफ ड्यूरिंग द डिकोडिंग. ये जो डिकोडिंग स्टेज है या डिकोडिंग स्टेज से पहले. सो मैक्रो ऑपरेशन फ्यूजन विल बी डन ओवर हियर. सो व्हाट इज अ मैक्रो ऑपरेशन फ्यूजन. 2 या 3 मैक्रो ऑपरेशन इंस्ट्रक्शंस को मर्ज करके उसको सिंगल मैक्रो ऑपरेशन बनाएंगे एंड दैट इज that will give you advantage, and then it will be stored in over here instruction queue. So the individual I7 instruction along with the fuse instruction are put in the instruction queue, which is having 8 entries. So आप यहाँ पे instruction आपकी आएगी यहाँ पे अब instruction queue में, instruction queue में आपकी entry आएगी. Then what will next क्या करेंगे हम? So instruction queue में एक बार आपकी instruction आ जाएगी, ready होगी. So now it will be divided into micro operation. Look, focus on the word macro operation and micro operation. Macro means complete instruction. जो मैंने यहाँ पे आपको बोला word 1, word 2. So it will be word level. पूरा का पूरे instructions. कौन सी इंस्ट्रक्शन आप दोनों इंस्ट्रक्शन आप एक साथ मर्ज करके आप पूरा वर्ड बनाओगे. सो वो वर्ड लेवल पे आपका यहाँ पे फ्यूजन होगा. सो दैट इज अ मैक्रो ऑपरेशन फ्यूजन. And once this macro operation instruction will be decided, it will be fetched and decoded. Then we will provide it instruction queue में आएगा, and then उसमें से हम उसको डिवाइड करेंगे माइक्रो ऑपरेशन में इसको डिवाइड करेंगे. सो एक वर्ड में से हम माइक्रो ऑपरेशन में इसको डिवाइड करेंगे. सो द इंस्ट्रक्शन फ्रॉम द क्यू आर टेकन and translated into this RISC like micro operation, and 4 micro operation can be produced in one clock cycle. एक ही इंस्ट्रक्शन आपने एक वर्ड जो डिजाइन किया होगा वो वर्ड को हम 4 माइक्रो इंस्ट्रक्शन में डिवाइड करेंगे, एंड वो 4 माइक्रो इंस्ट्रक्शंस आप साइमल्टेनियसली एग्जीक्यूट कर सकते हो. अब यहाँ पे जो माइक्रो इंस्ट्रक्शन एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए आपके पास यूनिट है, सो दैट इज माइक्रो ऑपरेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स डिकोडर, एंड दिस 3 आर सिंपल डिकोडर. सो जिसमें आपको थोड़ी बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स सिमेंटिक्स होंगे जो जिस इंस्ट्रक्शन को वो आप ये यूनिट को प्रोवाइड करोगे. So you will provide it to the complex decoder, and the other we will provide it to the simple decoder. And then this instruction will be decoded over here at the micro level पे वो instruction आपकी decode होगी, and then over here your micro operation and your loop instruction will be decided आपकी यहाँ पे. So the resulting micro operation are stored in a buffer. यहाँ पे बफर होगा. सो यहाँ पे जो आपका बफर होगा माइक्रो ऑपरेशन बफर which can store up to 28 micro operations. यहाँ पे आप 28 micro operations store कर सकते हो. In this micro operation buffer, 28 micro operation can be stored simultaneously. And if there is a loop, then loop detector unit will find out if any sequence out of this 28 micro operations, if they are forming any loop, उसमें कोई looping instruction है, उसमें कोई looping है, so it will detect the loop from this buffer and then inform this again over here, and according to that it will rearrange that looping instruction in one buffer. So from the micro operation buffer, the instructions are then spent to the next unit. So next unit, that is a record buffer, or you can register alias buffer. So यहाँ पे सब कुछ परफॉर्म होगा. आपका रजिस्टर रीनेमिंग या रिजर्वेशन सब कुछ यहाँ पे होगा. So that will be done by this block number 6. So from this micro operation buffer, your instruction will be provided to this six block number 6. Now block number 6 can perform many tasks, will be performed by this block number 6 that will support your superscalar RISC processor. So what are the operations that should be performed? So यहाँ पे block number 6 में हम क्या कौन से operation perform करेंगे? So whether to avoid out of order execution, आपका out of order execution avoid करने के लिए, so block number 6 performs operations like controlling out of order logic. Then 4 micro instruction can be issued in each cycle. So वो 4 instruction को schedule करेंगे. Then it will reorder buffer. So यहाँ पे rescheduling करना है, reordering करना है. So it can perform reordering also, as well as it will track which instruction is completed, which micro instruction is completed and which is not completed. So the allocation and renaming unit check that if resources are available to execute a micro operation or not. If resources are available, then it will allocate it, and again it will check whether दिस काइंड ऑफ डिपेंडेंसी शुड नॉट प्रेजेंट, ऐसी डिपेंडेंसी है तो वो इंस्ट्रक्शन हम दोनों साथ में शेड्यूल नहीं करेंगे. So this unit will take care this all operations. The reordering, aliasing means renaming, allocation, reservation, आपका कौन सा यूनिट को ये आप allocate करोगे, so allocation, scheduling, so everything will be done by this particular unit. Unit number 6 will perform this. So this whole operation will be performed by unit number 6 in Core i7 processor. And once everything will be decided, so instruction will be provided to your arithmetical logical unit और load and store जो भी आपकी instruction है उसके हिसाब से जो भी हमने schedule किया हुआ है उसके हिसाब से हम वो ALU में या उसमें assign करेंगे. So there are register renaming के लिए यहाँ पे कितने other registers available है. So that are 160 scratch registers. Scratch register means जो मैंने आपको already बताया था, R2 is your parent register and R2N that you are using as a another register renaming. So this R2N is known as scratch register. So ऐसे 160 another scratch registers are there. Scratch register का meaning क्या होगा, उसकी information आप आपकी इंस्ट्रक्शन जब होगी एग्जीक्यूशन में तब तक उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगी और वो आपको फिर ओवरराइट करना होगा आपके पेरेंट रजिस्टर में. So this such registers are known as scratch registers, or you can say that they are part of some another register, they are child of some another register. आप उसको ऐसा भी बोल सकते हो. So R2N is your parent register and R2N is your child register. So आपको लास्ट में क्या करना होगा, जब आपकी सीक्वेंस कंप्लीट हो जाएगी तो R2N को राइट करना होगा किस में, R2 में. So such registers are known as scratch registers. So ऐसे 160 scratch registers यहाँ पे अवेलेबल है which can use for renaming purpose, enabling the micro operation to execute without stall. And 6 execution units are there. So as we are already aware about, 3 ALU, 1 load, store instructions or data. So 6 units are there so that you can perform this operation, micro operation. 6 micro operations can be issued in each clock cycle. And finally the result will be stored in this. जैसे जैसे इंस्ट्रक्शन कंप्लीट होती जाएगी आपके मेमोरी ऑर्डरिंग बफर में वो आता जाएगा. सो इट शुड बी कंप्लीटेड इन ऑर्डर. सो इन ऑर्डर वो कंप्लीट होना चाहिए. सो उसका रिजल्ट स्टोर कब होगा, सो जो सीक्वेंस डिसाइड होगी उसी ऑर्डर में वो डिसाइड आपका रिजल्ट है वो स्टोर होगा. सो दैट इज memory reordering, memory order buffer will be there, and then from this memory order buffer your finally result will be stored in this data cache memory. Data cache memory में आपका result है वहां से वो store होगा and then it will go to your L2 cache memory में रहेगा. And this i7 is supporting precise exception, precise interrupt handling. यहाँ पे precise interrupt handling means what? If your particular instruction is in execution phase, so उससे पहले वाली जो जितनी भी इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी वो आप डिस्कार्ड कर दोगे और उसके बाद वाली जो इंस्ट्रक्शन होगी वो आप कंप्लीट करोगे. इंटरप्ट हैंडलिंग के टाइम इफ योर इंटरप्ट इज जनरेटेड, सो व्हाटएवर इंस्ट्रक्शन इज देयर इन एग्जीक्यूशन फेज, those instruction, those who have completed execution, only those instruction will be allowed to complete. All other instruction will be restarted after handling the interrupt. So this is just overview and this is just for arithmetical unit. यहाँ पे हमने floating point unit की बात नहीं की है. We have discussed about any floating point operation or floating point arithmetic operation. This is just for about a simple basic thing for arithmetical integer arithmetical operations. Yes, we are having floating point arithmetical logical unit in Core i7, but that is we have not discussed over here. That is also supported over here. वो भी यहाँ पे हमारे पास mechanism available है. So what is the main disadvantage of this Core i7? It requires high power. So one cannot touch a chip, it becomes very hot due to this high power. And if you will provide the frequency, clock frequency like 3.3 gigahertz and such high power, so you require some cooling mechanism, proper cooling mechanism should be there. So ये आपकी chip अगर आप consider करोगे, so i7 will require more power and due to this is there any problem in H division meeting? Okay, just I'm completing just a minute. I am just on the. Let me take once more time. Attendance में एक बार वापस ले लूंगा. I division student, am I audible?